Thanks for staying with us. The Taxi Association, SANTACO, and National Liquor Traders Council have teamed up to provide supplies and other necessities to South African primary schools. Pupils at Pelena Primary School in 11 Houtbosch have received desks, school supplies, sanitary towels and food packs. To talk to us some more about that and other issues facing their industries, I'm joined in studio by Ntimane from the National Liquor Traders Councils and SANTACO's president, Abnar Tsebe. Of course, quite well known to our viewers and South Africans in general. Very important industries that you represent. Gentlemen, thank you for your time this afternoon. And nice to be able to talk to you about positive moves being made by your important industries. Abnar, let me start with you. Why was it important for you to reach out in this way? I'm sure your industry does this kind of thing all the time, but it doesn't often get put under the spotlight. Why was this important to you?
Look, thank you very much and good day to the viewers at home. It was important for us to start this project because I was a former learner at Filena. So, and because of challenges that we are facing in terms of socio-economic challenges, I had to, I spoke to the principal, then he told me the challenges faced by the school. Then I decided to go and contribute in...
So in actual fact, it's your alma mater, the fancy word that we use for,
Yes.
places that we've learned at. That must have been a good feeling going back to a place where you started out, and here you are, a captain of industry,
Yes.
as you would call them.
Yes.
What was the reaction like? Were there still teachers there? I mean, you're not an old man, so were there still teachers there that you
Yes.
remember? And, were you part of the community there? There must have been a great reaction.
Yeah, there was a great reaction, even if most of the teachers that used to teach me, they are no longer there.
Okay.
They knew stuff altogether, but it was just fantastic. Yeah.
And now, Lucky, where did your partnership come in there? And why was it important for you to do this kind of thing?
So for us, we have always put it on record that we see SANTACO as an important partner, given the fact that they have a reach of about 60 million people that they transport on a daily basis. And if you look at taverns who are positioned in communities, we've often said that you cannot remove a tavern from a community setup. So we saw a need to partner and work together to address some of the issues that are faced by our communities and society at large. So it was for us a great fit that we partner with SANTACO, and we go into a primary school where the president of SANTACO went to donate desks and other school-related supplies, as well as sanitary repairs. But this is a start of the many things that we want to do, especially in primary school. The president has taken, a view that we should support, the foundation phase, which is also include the primary schools. And this is something that, we are fully behind. But this relationship is not only restricted to us supporting schools. We've worked together on road safety, as we know, some of the relationship between alcohol and some of the incidents that we see on the road. So for us, it's really to take responsibility for what we can in our society, and we're doing that with SANTACO as our partners.
Now, unfortunately, Lucky, we often talk to you when there's bad news that's hit your industry. We spoke often during lockdown because of the pressure that was put on your industry. And then I thought more recently you would have been in the news a lot when we had that awful incident that happened at that tavern in the Eastern Cape. How do you then approach doing work like this? Do people welcome you, or because we've got very conservative communities still that we work in? When you come into a space like that and they hear you from the Liquor Traders Association, do they not say, oh, that's the guy who represents the tavern down the street, the den of inequity, bad things happen there, young people go and they allow young people in? How do you approach that kind of negativity? And like you said, it's important for you and your members to start putting, or to continue putting, a positive spin on your place in those communities.
I think the narrative for taverns in the country has always been negative. I think the spotlight was shown us during COVID-19, where we had to take a stand and actually fight the unjust laws that the government placed on us that prevented us from putting food on the table. And that has actually created a positive image for the industry, where we are seen to be doing good for our communities, but also we take responsibility for where we are wrong. But also we seek to build partnerships that is going to grow our communities and society at large. So I can safely say that we have done enough, and we are well received by general public. We work with a lot of NGOs. We work with the church organizations. We work with anyone who wants to make a positive contribution in our society. Like I had said earlier, taverns are to be found in communities. You cannot talk community without talking taverns. So we need to really face this reality that taverns are part of us, but we also need to continue to include, the conversation around responsible drinking, responsible trading as well, where we encourage our traders to follow the laws of their liquor licenses, but also to encourage our consumers, our customers, to drink responsibly.
And also to kind of have the kind of relationship, if you get to know the young people in the community, you know if that young person's coming to the tavern, and you have that relationship when you say, if you don't leave here, I'm calling your mother. Those are the kind of communities we used to grow up in. And I'm sure if you build that kind of relationship in the communities, that would follow. I mean, Abnar, he talks about you can't have a community without there being taverns. It's recreation and that kind of thing. You also can't have communities without transport. And that's where the taxi industry is so very important. Now, you were elected into your position, I think we're talking about just a year ago now.
Yes.
About May last year, I think, is when you were elected. And I remember at the time, a big shoes that you were filling. You were... it was Philip Tybosh, I think. He was a two-person president. Big shoes that you filled there. And I remember at the time you said the taxi industry is its own worst enemy. And of course, when you're elected, you make all kinds of promises. This is what we're going to work on. Women representation and all that kind of thing. What's that first year been like? What's been your biggest lesson learned in that first year? And do you think you've achieved at least some of those successes?
Yes, of course, because, first coming into a new office, like you are saying, big shoes to fill, I had to do my own assessment, craft a strategy as to how do we move forward, bringing all partners next to me, including stakeholders like government and obviously partners like liquor traders and other partners. So I created a team in my office to deal with especially this socio-economic challenges that we have. And one example that I've started, like going to the school, then I'm coming up with the strategy as SANTACO to say, let's adopt a school in all provinces. So, and I think the one province that has given me a go ahead that they are already, there's someone who's also sharing a same birth date with me, and he said he's doing the same in the Western Cape.
Okay.
So we want to bring it and say, to our members in all regions and associations in areas where they operate to adopt a school.
And again, also similar to your colleagues in the taxi industry, about engaging communities and allowing the taxi industry not to be just seen as the bad guys.
Correct.
All industries have bad apples.
Exactly.
But you have to start somewhere. I'm sure you would agree.
Yes, we have to start somewhere.
There has been a lot spoken about formalizing the industry.
Correct.
and the need for that. You also spoke out against violence and saying we need to find dialogue to be able to reach that. Formalization has been an ongoing thing. We've now had a change in the Minister of Transport as well. How much further along this route are we at the moment? Pardon the pun.
Yes, we are now on the implementation phase. We've got pressure that the Lekgotla resolutions needs to be implemented as soon as yesterday. I think we are on that route now to call the leadership of all provinces to talk about the implementation. Like you are saying, Tybosh was dealing most on politics and more on implementation. So now, my first year now, the plan is that starting my second year, it will be implementation all over.
Great stuff, and we're going to only wish you everything of the best. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming in this afternoon, and hopefully continue to do the work that you're doing so that we can talk to you for all the right reasons. Lucky Ntimane is with the National Liquor Traders Council, and the president of SANTACO is Abnar Tsebe. Thank you for your time this afternoon.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you so much.
We'll have more news after this. Do stay with us.